Another day, another DOGE bro looking like an absolute goon. Please watch this with me.
So if you had a question about, let's say, whether a grant was violative of, or had DEI in it, for instance, or was a borderline call, how would you get clarity on how to deal with that?
Justin and I made a personal judgment call and then reviewed that judgment call with Mike and with Adam.
Okay. Do you have any history in, like, let's say, scholarly peer review?
No.
Okay. So, but this judgment call was made by you and your personal judgment combined with Justin's personal judgment to cancel grants based on DEI.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yes, I love when they cancel grants based on personal judgment from like 29-year-old bozos.
Do you think it's inappropriate in any way that someone in their 20s with no experience with grants or federal government was making personal judgment calls about what grants to cancel?
Objection.
No, I don't think it's inappropriate.
Okay. Why not?
Objection.
I think a person can have enough judgment from reading books and being well informed outside of traditional experience.
Listen to this. Listen to him say, oh, I think people should be able to make judgment calls based on books they've read, right? They should be able to make judgment calls based on books.
To make judgment calls about obvious things like a grant that literally lists DEI in its description to know whether it violates an executive order.
Okay.
I don't think you need to have a scholarly peer review background to do that.
Okay. So presumably you read some of these books that would have informed you on how to cancel a grant based on DEI?
Objection.
I did not read a book on how to discern whether a grant includes DEI or not. I read the actual description of the actual grant.
So I can read books instead of having experience. Oh, okay, great. So you read books? No, I didn't read books.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm saying books because you said books. What books would you have read that would have informed your opinion on what grants to cancel based on DEI or not?
There were no books.
Okay.
The fact that the lawyer is literally laughing at him because he's like, oh, okay, well, I said books because you brought up books. You literally said, I don't need academic experience. I can just read books about these subjects. And so then the lawyer is like, okay, so great. What books did you read? He's like, no, I didn't read any books. There were no books. That might be the best way to describe everyone's experience who's currently in the White House. There were no books. Yeah, there were no books. We know that. We can tell.
So there are no books. Anything else that would have informed you on how to do this?
No.
Okay. Just kind of your whims, I guess? Is that what you're saying?
Objection.
It's going on vibes.
They're not my whims. It's my judgment.
It's not my whims. It's my judgment. Your judgment that's based on literally nothing. Your judgment that's based on vibes alone. That's based on a whim. This is how these goons decided to cancel millions of dollars of grants. They used vibes and ChatGPT to determine whether something was at all related to DEI. Does that feel like a good way to run the government to you? Because to me, it feels like a bunch of 20-year-old frat bros who got these jobs because like their daddy or their uncle said they'd be good at them. The crazy thing about this entire thing, right, is that DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, aims to put in place hiring practices that employ people based on merit, regardless of their race, gender, ethnicity, religion, anything like that. That is the whole point of DEI, to make sure that it is an even playing field for everyone, so that mediocre white men like this dude don't end up in power simply because they've failed their way upward. You know who wouldn't have to use ChatGPT to determine whether grants had anything related to do with DEI? Anyone who was actually qualified for this job. But because this administration is so dead set on believing these white male grievances, they think that they only need to employ white men because white men are being pushed out of power. Are they? Are they? Because that's how we end up with these bozos. Instead of hiring someone based on merit, someone who actually knows how to do this job, they are finding the most basic white boys they can find and being like, yeah, you look the part. And this is what we end up with. 29-year-old bros who don't read books, who have no experience in the field determining which grants to cut, which research to stop funding. It's no surprise that we have an education crisis in this country. Hi, if you're new here, I talk about the intersection of politics and parenting. I'm on all of the social channels as @IlianaJustine. I'd love to have you follow me. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll see you in my next video.